Yeah, another post. My third video of the day. So much things have happened in one day. The Cincinnati. To be fair, that was like I don't know if it was like last week or it wasn't like necessarily the most recent news I've seen. Um, then all these things with the Disney parents. I'm gonna get more into that. Actually, I'm just gonna get it over with in the beginning because I like ended my last video trying to talk about Hassan's mom, which I honestly don't really care about. Like no hate on War Pegasus. Like obviously like the topic is important and like whatever, right? But I hate to be like one of those types of people that says over and over again like see this is what I said or I told you so or like patronizing people, especially like casual people who are like watching my channel. They're gonna be like, what the hell? Do I literally have to go through your entire video catalog to understand what you're talking about most of the time? I just say that, as a point of reference. I don't mean you have to watch all my videos. Although I would like that for the sake of like like starting off with YouTube and like, social media, all that crap. I never really wanted attention. I just did it for like the fun of it. But when I realized that like I'm not necessarily making a difference, but it's like, I'm an unvocal voice, a voice of like reasonable, unreasonable, whatever's right. And I kind of got it wrong where Canada was alone. It's the third country, so both the UK and Canada and France are recognizing the state of Palestine. Gee, I wonder why France is recognizing the state of Palestine. The same France that people are attacking like random civilians in the street of its capital. UK, where like the grooming gangs are still have gotten largely unsolved, and Canada now joining the fray of stupidity. Their idea is they're going to recognize the state of Palestine, right? And they're gonna hopefully get the hostages released. And the Palestinian, I mean Hamas, cannot represent the people, even though they technically do. Like they've been they're the teachers, they're like the coaches, they're the TV, the people on the TV. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like one of those like googly eyed retard ass looking motherfuckers who like did the October 7th attack. One day put on like Mickey Mouse or like whatever plush toy costume and like told the kids, death to the Jews, death to the Jews. And that's the motherfuckers these guys want to fucking recognize as a country. Jesus, man. It's like one of those things where like I don't even think they realize how fucking stupid they are. But in the case of France, it's not like they have much of a choice. Like they're gonna lose a country to cuckoldry, to weak men, and to Islam. They already lost it to Islam, as far as I'm concerned. But and you know what's funny? I didn't bring up Germany. You want to know why? Germany's kicking these people out. Germany's making changes, and it took so much bloodshed from Germany, from Belgium, from all these Eastern European countries that just like weren't having it. You know what I mean? Like the whole swimming pool thing I spoke about. Yeah, it's like these are necessary changes that need to be maintained. And I take a step further. Like, okay, so before I get into that topic, let's talk about a more lighthearted topic about the Disney parents. Right? It wasn't really that big of a deal. Like as far as like the ridiculousness of it is. It's like it's not uncommon for people to go into debt, and like they had like 8,000 American in student loan debt. Yikes! Maybe I misread that. I was like more, but like whatever, right? But like the reason why I'm bringing this up is that you're gonna die for people like this, and then when you're gone, they're gonna inherit the country, right? And this is the case for Israel right now. Like if Israelis, the young, the brave, the strong, the willing, if they sacrifice their lives for the state of Israel, for the Jewish religion, you know what's left behind. You don't think what's left behind. You know what's left behind. You look at Harvey Weinstein, what was Epstein, all these like perverted motherfuckers coming out of nowhere, like Ben Alouze's. Like isn't that motherfucker still making videos? So why does he jump in with the IDF and like throw down? God damn, these guys are such bitch ass pussies. And like I was bashing them like the last video, whatever. These like specifically the Jews that are gonna duck defending Israel and shit. Because like when I say perpetually, I do mean perpetually. Like this isn't for you anymore. This isn't like first world. We're just another slice of multiculturalism in here. Like Canada already has Drake. Drake is getting clowned like universally, like all around. All these people are clowning him. And ever since the whole thing between him and Kendrick, it's just like an ongoing thing with this guy, and it's not gonna end well for him. Like the Canadian image is irreversibly scarred. And I don't really think it has anything to do with him in specificity. It's just like the behavior that, the whole world. I thought it was just America, but the whole world has like a bone to pick with Canada. And it's mostly due to the fact that I think Canada sees itself as another member of the European Union. I really do. I really do. And it took like Justin Trudeau and now Mark Carney to like, make it more than just obvious that that's the direction of this country, that where we're headed. Can you imagine some of those losers, some of those retards, who are like, elbows up, and they're doing that little elbow up dance? I want to know which one of those motherfuckers was Israeli and shit. And that's what I mean about bitch ass cowards, man. Like the violence, the brutality, the lack of humanity that occurred on October 7th and then subsequently, after, right? Was something that like I don't think the world well, we've had conflicts around the globe that, have devastating, effects, right? Like let's take, Rambo, I think it was 4, and it was just like that, setting in that eastern, communist country. It could have been Cambodia, right? It could have been whatever. But to see it sort of hit like let me just be honest, like nobody really gives a fuck until it's white people. All right, nobody really gives a fuck until it's white people, and I'll explain why. Because when it happens to white people, it can happen to everybody. White people make the guns. White people have the most military. White people invent the most military, the most fucked up things like nerve agents, nuclear weapons. Like, did you know that you have to put trillium, this like crazy elemental compound, whatever the hell it is, inside of nukes to make it work, and it can only be created with the whole fuselage plus like whatever, right? That's why like USA was telling Iran, you guys can't be enriching uranium and all that shit because they had the equipment to make it. They know what they were doing, right? But it costs lots and lots of money. So most likely, Russia got fucking bankrupt, and then they like said, you know what? We need some money. Who can we borrow from? BlackRock, globalists, whatever. And now here we are, right? Like the craziest idea about the whole Israeli conflict, the whole like thing at large, is like there's so many Jewish people around the world with money, with capabilities, resources, and watch after the state of Palestine has been recognized, watch as the people of Israel suffer day after day after day after day. And you want to know why they suffer? Because they suffer in silence. They don't have their fellow Jewish, family members, bloodline, whatever religion to help them out. They're stranded in a desert, surrounded by enemies. The world has basically, thanks to the help of Kanye West, mad at Kim Kardashian dating what was it, Pete Wentz? What the fuck, dog? She's dating Pete Wentz because you're a fucking psychopath, and that like you have some gay man tendencies. Well, you are gay, right? And also like I think the biggest one was your fashion line, dude. If I was married to somebody and they came out with a fashion line like that, instant divorce, and I'd be like, look them in the eye and be like, people spent money, time, and effort on this, and yet it is worthless, and so are you. And then just like turn around and walk away. Like, look at the shit that he like Kanye West has to be a fucking dumbass, and the people who call him like genius, whatever, this and that, are fucking low IQ, intelligent individuals. Like they're just they don't understand the reality of how much of a fucking idiot this guy is, and how much he just ruined, North American, specifically African American culture. Because here we go. This is probably gonna piss a lot of people off, but breaking news. Shit. Race war started. It started, dude. And I thought it would start at the court hearing of this Cincinnati brawl, right? So after the verdict was laid out, guilty. There's no way you're getting it innocent, so you're just getting it guilty, but with a varying degree of severity, punishment. Right? That's when it was gonna pop off, like then and there, right? Boy, was I wrong. What I just saw was beyond fucking insanity. So like kids, and I do mean kids, like 11, 12, and I think 14, right? And you see them on video jumping on a taxi cab twerking, and the taxi cab just drives off with her on it, and then she falls off. And I was honestly hoping that was the worst of it. I'm like, okay, cool, just kids. Maybe they found some wine coolers or something like that. It's their first time drinking alcohol. But no, it's a lot worse than that. They're systematically going around targeting, and I only saw a 2-minute segment of Yasmin Gold. I think he's gonna make another one, and I'm just gonna watch that, and then have more broadened understanding of this the whole dynamic of this, because it's like the way I see it. These are kids, much unlike the way gangs use youths to commit crimes, right? Stealing cars, robberies, etc. This isn't gonna stop, unfortunately. Shit, it started, and this is why I honestly good. When I said you can't trust the police, yep, 100%, 100%, dude. What the fuck, man? You want to know what happened to these girls? They got yelled at, and then they got sent home. Yep. Now, will their parents ever need to go to court over the severe beating that they gave another young lady, teenager, whatever? No, no, that is not the case. And it was an Asian, East Asian, who they grabbed. Well, one woman grabbed her by the little girl, grabbed her by the hair and pulled her to the ground, and started punching her in the face. So with this level of violence, right? And people are going to be like, "Oh, are you for or against the black people?" No, I'm against anyone who's a fucking idiot, who plays into the hands of authoritarians, right? Who see shit like this and say, you know what, we need more rules. We need curfews. We need tracking devices put in your cell phones. We need this. We need that. And then you're living in a life where if you sneeze or think something wrong, you're gonna incur penalty, and that is beyond just being enslaved to a system that reaps your rights, reaps your humanity. It's more or less what they want, right? The whole dance monkey dance, and people are gonna be like, oh, you are you saying that about black people? No, I'm just saying about people in general. If you want to go there and say that I'm calling black people monkeys, well, think about it this, right? What percentage of black people are honestly committing crimes? Seriously, I'm guessing, right? If we're gonna take a head count, maximum 10% of all African Americans and all American, Africans and black people all around the world. But it's just that 10%, which is a pretty big number when you consider you're talking about millions of people. If that's all it takes, right? And then that's what everybody sees all the time. Oh, black women are jumping on cars and twerking and they're attacking random people, right? I don't. I never experienced that. I don't see that. Like sometimes I'll encounter like the odd like individual with like an attitude problem or whatever, but in the grandest scope of things, this is very much an optics game played and carry it. Like the idea that a thing like this can happen and like it's just a slap on the wrist punishment is more than just eye opening. It's just like, yeah, dude, you know what you're trying to start. You don't want Trump to be president. You don't want these people to like stay in power. This is the inevitable reality of your laws, like the annexation of the incels. Exactly as I said. Sorry for patronizing you, my ladies and gentlemen. I'm just. This is my third video. I'm trying to do these things all unscripted because I'm tired of reading off scripts and stuff. It's just makes me sound like so much of a goddamn robot. And then like I don't hate on people, YouTubers, for doing the whole I'm gonna take multiple takes and then just like go off of that and then just like have you know a perfect esque video. But I find that to be very robotic. Even though sometimes my share factory limit is just like 15 minutes, sometimes it's 60. I don't know, man. Like I'm guessing it's to do with like 4K games. I really just play some Monster Hunter. But that Monster Hunter wow, Rise, sorry, is in 4K. So oh crap. Did I talk about everything? Yeah. Race Wars here. Hooray. Everybody. I want you to buckle up. It's gonna be a fun as in like real painful. Oh, and guess what? The Israelis are not gonna fight their war.